Hey there everybody, this is Gary from Constricted and Addicted. We have Celia here, and Celia is my 50% Slayer, 25% unknown super dwarf from Chris McVicker at New Shed Serpents. And today we're going to talk about a little bit of her behaviors that I've been experiencing and how we corrected them, so stick around. So a little while back, I was noticing that when I got Celia out, she would like coil really tight around my hands, as if she was trying to squeeze me as if I was prey. I noticed that she was being extremely defensive, but she wasn't striking. I did get bit by her, but I can also say that I had been getting some rodents ready at the time, so that could have been why she bit me. But nonetheless, her attitude has been intimidating and just different from what I'm used to. What she's doing right now is much better than what she was doing, and the behaviors were going on for probably about the better part of a month or so, and I finally reached out to Chris about her behavior and tried to describe it as best as I could. And what he had told me was that the best person to reach out in that case, in that situation, was Lucas Bagnera from Lab Exotics. So I did just that. I called Lucas, and I'll tell you what, Lucas picked the phone up. We picked a time for us to talk and explain the situation that was happening with Celia. And when we had that time together, he had told me that he had a very, very similar situation going on with an animal of his, a reticulated python. And basically, he said that she was expressing need for larger meals. So, you know, she's not a very big animal. If you can see, she's roughly, let me see if I can get her uncoiled here. She's about 5 feet long. She's about the size of a glorified corn snake, if you ask me. But nonetheless, Lucas had suggested that I up the size of her food. Up to this point, she had been eating medium rats. And I've always been taught that you really don't feed them anything larger than the middle of their body. So that's what I've been feeding her. When Lucas had suggested that I up the food size, he suggested to a jumbo rat. And I was very, very cautious about going that large. But listening to him, because I have to remember that there's people that have been around here for a lot longer than I have, or maybe they just have more experience in the time that they've been here than I have, to listen to them and see if it works. So I had decided not to go with a jumbo rat. I decided to go with a large rat, which to me, it still looks very large for her body size. But to my surprise, I gave her that large rat and she took it with absolutely no problem. And I've got to tell you that what happened after that was she returned almost immediately to the regular demeanor that she had. Now, who would have thought that increasing the food size of a reticulated python would, first of all, let's back this up a little bit. Who would have thought that not having the correct food size would alter the behavior of an animal. And I've had her since she was probably, I don't know, 5 months old, 4 or 5 months old, but she's 2 years old now. Who would have thought that if she needed something bigger? Now, reticulated pythons do have a faster metabolism than most snakes do, so naturally they're going to process their food a little faster than, say, a boa constrictor or a ball python. But I would have never have thought to up the size of her food. I would have never have thought that it was the size of her food that was causing her to have attitude behaviors. So once we did that, up the size of her food, her behavior returned to the way she was. I mean, within days. I mean, I always let my animals digest their food. I don't pick them up for 2 days after they eat. And she just ate on Saturdays, so today is Monday, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and do this video with her. She had plenty of time. So within a couple of days, her attitude was right back to normal. Now, she was intimidating me, and I say that because I would open up the enclosure and she would stick her head out and almost like coil back, like, come and get me. Come and get me. So I was really intimidated by her. I was not letting her stop me from getting her out, but I didn't like the behaviors that I was seeing, and that's what initially caused me, or made me, reach out to Chris McVicker and say, hey, you know, have you ever experienced this? And Chris said, you know, I know that Lucas has, so he might be the person that you want to talk to. So as soon as I talked to Lucas Bagnera, he had a solution for me. And as you can see, she's just extremely manageable. She's still a little bit tense, but I think that, you know, I think that's just because that's her nature. It's definitely not anything like she was before. So definitely a change. Now, I would have never have thought that increasing the food size would have that much of an effect on my snake's attitude, but it did. The other thing is that he did say to feed her a jumbo rat, but I do not feed her a jumbo rat at every feeding. So what I have been doing is alternating. Like, she gets fed every 2 weeks right now. One of her feedings will be a large rat or a jumbo rat. The next feeding 2 weeks from that will be a medium rat, so that she's not constantly being fed something that is giving her a much bigger lump than I feel that she needs. But yet it's still giving her the nutrition and the food value that she probably deserves. She's a 2-year-old retic. She's growing, and, you know, I'm not real versed on what their needs are and what their basics are. But I'll tell you what, when our retics want to tell us something, they're going to tell us something one way or the other, and it's up to us to figure out what it is they're trying to tell us and to correct it. And I just really got to thank Lucas for being there and for helping me out with that situation and getting her back on track. And let me share with you that if you have a problem with your reticulated python and you're self-correcting it, that is probably the worst thing you can do. Reach out to some people, reach out to a breeder, reach out to somebody individually, you know, whether you send them a message on Facebook or whatever, and ask them if they are familiar with the problem that you might be experiencing with your snake, and if they can help you through it. And hopefully, if they're not experiencing it, they can point you in the direction of somebody who can help you correct that problem. So, you know, that's an amazing way and a wonderful way that we can all stay connected and utilize our community as a resource. So, you guys, thanks for watching this video. This is Celia. She is my 2-year-old 50% Soleil reticulated python, and she is an amazing animal. Thanks for watching.